Hi and welcome back. I'm just going to tear this torque converter apart so that you can all see what's going on with it, so that you know what to find in there. Now, in my opinion, these things, there's not a lot of moving parts in there, to be honest. So you shouldn't really have too much trouble with them. I've never had any trouble with them. I'm just taking this apart to show you exactly what you're going to find if you take it apart. Not that you'll ever have to. If you pull one of these tractors in half, you're probably going to find burnt clutch discs, missing sealing rings, all kinds of things like that. You could wind up with a leak between here and the oil pump, but that's another story. So I'll get this flipped over. Ouch. I've already undone the impeller housing. The impeller hub, it's called. Now I dug a hole in my table for this so that I could set the torque converter flat. So now you'll have to excuse me. I have to do most everything with my right hand and I'm left-handed, so it takes me longer to do everything. But that's life. There we go. So, collect up all my nuts. Bolt. Get this all set aside with the other bolts from the impeller hub. And then we can take the top off and you can see what's inside. Now, if you're not sure that this is your problem, don't waste your time taking it apart unless you can find no obvious problems with the rest of the transmission, because these things are, like I said, I never found a problem with one. We've never had to take one apart. We've never had to replace one. But I can tell you right off that this had a problem whereby it broke the flex plate. Okay, and the flex plate connects the torque converter to the flywheel. So the hub breaks out around the bolts that hold the flywheel and the flex plate on. And it's happened, I've seen it about half a dozen times since I've been working on these things. And what it does, when it breaks out, the torque converter just sits there, engine's revving, you go nowhere, and you have this damage here. This is pretty obvious damage for that kind of condition. So what I'm going to do is pop the top off. So this is just your cover. Oh, I forgot a bolt. That's why it's not coming off. So we pop that off. And we come to our turbine assembly. Okay. So what we have in here, there's not much to see. I didn't find any broken or nicked fins. Everything looks pretty good in here. No loose rivets. So I put that in there. Oh, and jeez. Pain in the ass. All right. Put that thrust washer back in there. There's a fiber thrust washer. So then we have our stator. Okay, and the stator houses a one-way bearing. So if you notice that this spline, it's called a sprag actually. If you notice that this is actually turning both ways, well, then you know you've got a problem there. It's only supposed to turn one way and one way only. And this is an assembly. Between here and the opposite side, you actually have a one-way bearing in there. You've got the sprag that serves as the inner race, and then an aluminum piece that serves as the outer race. And this is held in just by the same clips that hold in the discs in the clutch baskets. Same thing. No difference at all. So that's that. Oh, better put this the correct way. So we put it back together properly. And then we've got, this is the impeller hub. And this is what goes with this engages your oil pump, these two dogs. Okay, so when you put this into your oil pump, when you're putting the machine back together, a good rule of thumb is to position these, let's say 12 and 6 p.m. on the clock, and make sure that your oil pump dogs are positioned at 3 and 9 rather. And you should be okay putting it back together. As long as it goes back together straight as an arrow, you shouldn't have any issues at all. And actually, looking on this, it doesn't really have anywhere where the seal was riding. It looks in pretty good shape. Now, except that on the leading edges, it has burrs on these ears. Now, the ears are actually slightly canted in like this, okay? So it shouldn't damage your seal when it's going in, but why take the chance? Take a file and file those down prior to reassembly, just to make them nice and smooth. If one of them catches the lip of your seal and cuts it, well, you're going to wind up with a leak, and you don't want that. And then lastly, we come to the impeller housing. Now this, you really just inspect it for any damaged fins, and we don't see any of that in here. In fact, I didn't find any damage at all in this torque converter, just that it had gotten water in it. So that's about it for this video. And I just wanted to show you what is in here. But to be perfectly honest, I didn't really have to do that. Now, some people may have come across issues with these torque converters, but I've never seen a video. I've heard people speculate that this could be a problem, but I've never actually seen or experienced a problem like this before. So this is really just showing you what's in here. That's all there is to it. And hopefully this just gives you a guide. If you ever feel like taking yours apart, you actually have a monster seal here, all the way around here, and then you have another seal, which I've already removed actually. You have another seal around here, and those are the only two seals in the torque converter. So simple as that. So there you have it. Thank you very much for watching, and have yourselves a great day.